Mm. Oh, hello, my beautiful blessed souls. We are bruised and are broken, back with another word. I am here. Ooh, excited about this. This is Dueteronomy 16. I'm trying to get some of them out. I'm trying to get a little bit ahead. I like to try to get my weekends now to myself because it's my time to relax and enjoy life and spend time with the Lord. But I need that time for myself because during the week it's hectic. But anyway, so I'm trying to get ahead now so that during those times I'll have everything that I need to have done and I can really and truly relax and have things done because I'm a person of order, organization, all of that stuff, and I want to be done, did what I'm supposed to do. I can't relax until I've done what I'm supposed to do. And so that's what truly relaxing is about, having everything done and really being at peace to focus on God, me, my life, and enjoying my life. Because we have to do that sometimes. I'm resting. But anyway, Dueteronomy chapter 16. Observe the month of Abib. And I believe I did. I think we look back the beginning of the year. I did one about the year and Abib and all of that. And it being the first year, the really new year and all that. So like I said, it's a lot of videos I've done. You need to start from the beginning and then kind of work your way up and then kind of, catch up to what I've been doing, because I've been doing this about April 4th. I think it'll be 2 years. That has a lot of meaning symbolically in my life, a lot of different things. A lot was going on in my life, a lot of things. I got married around it. It's just very a lot of similar, and I didn't realize it until I started doing this. But God allowed me to start doing these videos around that time. Anyway, so observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover to the Lord your God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord your God brought you out of Egypt by night, and you shall offer the Passover. Remember, it's the time sacrifice to the Lord your God from the flock or the herd at the place that the Lord will choose to make his name dwell there. You shall eat no leavened bread with it. Remember, the leaven is like the yeast. It is puffed up. God wants to deal with you with humility, not puffed up full of pride and stuff and ego. 7 days you shall eat it with unleavened bread, the bread of affliction. Remember, because you have to sacrifice and it's going to be affliction. We have trials and tribulations, saved and not alike. Jews and Gentiles, Israel, Hebrews, you're going to have it. Why sin into the world? It's a wrap. For you came out of the land of Egypt in haste, that all the days of your life you may remember the day when you came out of the land of Egypt. Why? Because it's the day you came out of bondage. These are symbolic times that we should practice and remember of. And this is what God has established us to celebrate these things. And there's a reason to remember the accomplishments, to celebrate yourself, and celebrate God and celebrate the things of your life that he is doing. No leaven shall be seen with you in all your territory for 7 days, nor shall any of the flesh that you sacrifice on the evening of the first day remain all night until morning. So that means you're supposed to eat it. Why? This is a time for you to commune with God, the relationship. This is why when you look at all of the celebrations that they have on the calendars, even the pagan ones, it's about feasting, it's about food, it's about drink, it's about whatever it is that they're doing. And it is for a reason. It is communion, it is ritualistic, it is symbolic, it is altars, covenants, and contracts. It is rituals, it is relationship. It is their culture, it is celebration, it is all of these things. It has meaning, it is symbolic. So when we think of these things, this is why, and that's why he says remember them. And then remembrance, like communion, all of these things is what? To keep the fire burning, to not let it go out, to keep the mantles, the torches passing down. But the place of the Lord your God will choose to make his name dwell in it. There you shall offer the Passover sacrifice in the evening of sunset at the time you came out of Egypt. And you shall cook it and eat it at the place that your Lord your God will choose. And in the morning you shall turn and go to your tents. For 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord your God. You shall do no work on it. Remember why? Because God wants to commune with his people. We were made to worship. We were made to have communion. Even when Adam and Eve was in the garden, the original plan was for them to be there, to live, to walk, to commune with God, with earth, with the animals, and to have relationship, fellowship with him. He wants to be a part of what he created. He created us in his image, to love him, to commune with him, to have, and this is his way of establishing that with us through these feasts, through this worship, through this relationship, through these rituals, through this time that we would be with him throughout this. Every year is the same time. You see what I'm saying? And be in alignment with him. And this is why. And he set these things up specifically exactly the way he wanted it for this reason. So when we look at the calendar, when we look at all these things that take us away from that, it is for a reason. They replace it with their own stuff that we celebrate. Why? So that we do not celebrate what God has called us to celebrate. It is indoctrination. It is us also covenant contract celebrating, worshiping what they want us to worship, having rituals with them, having relationship with them, having worship and fellowship with them instead of with God. Please do not get this twisted. This is not an accident. This is why you see all of this pagan stuff that mimics what God has for us. And it is all based around godly principles of fellowship, of feasting, of all of these things. And this is why, because it's presented to you as culture, religion, whatever. And this is why it's so hard to break away from it. Sickle is first put to the standing grain. Then you shall keep the feast of the weeks to the Lord your God with the tribute of a freewill offering from your hand, which you shall give as the Lord your God blesses you. And you shall rejoice before the Lord your God, and you and your son and your daughter, and your male servant and your female servant, the Levite who is within your towns, the sojourner, the fatherless, and the widow who are among you at the place that the Lord your God will choose to make his name dwell there. So it's not random places. This is all specific. When God put Adam and Eve in the garden, everything was already taken care of. They had provision. The earth was already formed, the waters, the seas, the vegetation, everything that they needed was already there before he even placed them there. Provision, protection, always guidance, relationship. This is why when we look at what man tells us is one thing, and for the head and the tail and the man and the woman and them, and they tell us that the woman's supposed to provide for the man. He's the catch. No, God already established these things in the order that which they shall go. And when you change them, it's satanic, it is wickedness, it's divination, it's all these things. You're telling God he's out of order, he's out of alignment. What he says is wrong, what you said is right, and this is what you're doing. You're putting yourself in the place of God, and you're not. You shall remember that you are a slave in Egypt, and that you shall be careful to observe these statutes. Why? Because God brought you out. He could have left you or remained you there. He did not have to take you out. It is not because you're so wonderful. It's not because you're so obedient. It's not because you're so loving. It's not because you're so willing. It's not because you're so wonderful and great that God decided. No, it is by his grace and his mercy. You can never, ever in your life give him due worship, praise him enough. That is just that. We do not deserve his grace. We deserve wrath. For the disobedience and wickedness that we know, be glad we feel entitled. No, it's like children are feeling entitled like you have to. No, you do not. You have given and done more than enough for them. And if they are not sad, they should be glad for whatever it is you already gave them, because you did not have to. You did it because you wanted to. So you shall keep the feast of booths 7 days when you have gathered in the produce from your threshing floor. And your wine presses, you shall rejoice in your feast, and you and your son and your daughter and your male servant, your female servant, Levi, sojourner, fatherless, and the widow who are within your towns. For 7 days you shall keep the feast to the Lord your God in the place that the Lord will choose, because the Lord your God will bless you and all your produce and all the work of your hands, so that you will be altogether joyful. So this is not just you, it's your household, it's your cattle, it's your land, it's no sickness, no disease, no poverty. This is blessing. Oh my goodness, this is the abundant life. God blesses those who bless you. He curses those who curse you. Do you not see the protection, the provision that is here for you? I mean, and all who are around you, all who sojourn with you, even the fatherless, the widows, the people who are around you, they come from other nations, your servants, whatever, they are blessed because of you, because you're with relationship with God. This is what this, do you not see this? Let's pay attention. Please pay attention. 3 times a year all your meals shall appear before the Lord your God at the place he will choose, the feast of unleavened bread, and the feast of weeks, and the feast of booths. They shall not appear before the Lord empty-handed, meaning come before the Lord bearing gifts, being thankful, gratitude. Thankful and grateful for what he has blessed you with, not because he has to, but because he wanted to, he chose to. This is what gratefulness and reciprocity is about. Not because your parents or whoever have to do it, no, because they wanted to, because they loved you, and you should be grateful and thankful for that. Every man shall give as he is able according to the blessing of the Lord your God that he has given unto you. Attitude of gratitude always goes a long way. When you feel like someone have to, they are entitled. When you take their blessings and they give things for granted, it makes them not want to, because they do not have to, and then they will turn around and they will not do. Why? Because why would I continue to do for someone who, 1, I don't have to, 2, they don't appreciate it, they're not grateful, they're not reciprocal, they could not. Right. We could never outgive God. We can never outgive God. We can never outlove God. We can never outdo for God. But the little bit we can do, we don't even want to do. And that's sad. And then you wonder why, even with people, places, and things, they get to the point where they're like, no, we don't want to be bothered. Why? Because I didn't gave you, I did, or it was never enough. You were never grateful. You were never appreciative. You never reciprocal, but you feel entitled. You feel like I owe you. You feel like I'm indebted, and I'm not. And then you will see where it is in your life that I really am. You should have been happy. You should have been thankful. You should have been blessed with what I was already giving you, because I didn't have to. I did it because I wanted to. But the moment you feel that I am indebted, I am entitled, I have to, and you're ungrateful, and then I stop, then guess what? You will get the real side. Why? Because I didn't never have to do it in the beginning. No one owes you anything. You shall appoint judges and officers in all your towns that the Lord your God is giving you according to your tribes, and they shall judge the people with righteous judgment. You shall not pervert justice. See that? You shall not partially, and you shall not accept a bribe. For a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of the righteous. Booyah, it perverts everything. When people are in the right and you sit back and you look and you don't say nothing and you know, yes, it is perverting, it's going on. And justice will be avoided. Justice and only justice you shall follow, that you may live and inherit the land of the Lord your God is giving you. Why? Because God is a just God. So when you see people lying and doing stuff and just for no reason, this is a reason. That is persecution. That is oppression. That is injustice. God is not in that. And when you talk about slavery and all these other things and what they do in this world, God is not in that. And because Satan is good with tricking you in your minds and the witchcraft and sorcery thereof. And because when you get angry and you have something with someone because they're not giving you all you want and need, and they're not being your subservient, and this becomes a problem, because that's where the envy, the pride, the jealousy, the covetousness, and this is where the witchcraft and sorcery can come in, because that's the seed that is already in your heart that the enemy will use to pervert your mind, to pervert everything you have going on, to get someone who has nothing but love for you. This is why you got to be careful, because you can persecute the ones who are actually for you, and this is where the injustice lies. And you could be allowing the passes, the grace and mercy, and the benefits and the blessings of the one who does not have any good intentions towards you. We're talking about reaping and sowing seed. When you sow, how you sow. This is how that happens. When you are sowing blindly, because your eyes, the shackles, the shades, the scales over your eyes, when you only see what you want to see, you don't see the good in these people. And the devil loves to lie, steal, kill, and destroy, and deceive you to make you think that the ones who are doing well for you, because they don't do any and everything and say everything you want them to say and be on your side all the time, and they correct you and all of that, then you would be angry with them about nothing, because you would have aught with them and they have actually done nothing to you. They're hurtful or harmful. But you will see it as such. All throughout your eyes, you will see nothing but anger, and when they have actuality done nothing to you. But in your mind, they have done such atrocities, and this will be the trick of the devil. See? But the seed is already in. There's something in you that already allows you to not like to be angry with these people. And that's what he used. He banks on that. You shall not plant any tree as an Asherah besides the altar of the Lord your God that you shall make, and you shall not set up a pillar which the Lord your God hates. So when we're looking into this, when we're looking at this, Asher, remember that was the goddess. Remember when you talk about love? When you talk about love, we did love the other day. Cupid and all that, those are demons, demonic forces. When you look them up, you will see that those are amongst the goddess and goddesses of Satan. So we see little Cupid in his arrows and he's giving you love and all. No, in all actuality, those are the Asherahs. Those are the worshiping of paganism. Why? Because those are the things that they put. God is love. He gives us love. But he didn't give us Cupid and the arrows and the demons. No, that's not what he gave us. The gods and goddesses that are in opposition of him, that are pretending to be him, that are mimicking him, that are acting like they're him. And see, sometimes, and God will allow us to go through seasons and periods in our life where we will see things and he won't allow us to say anything. Or he was supposed to shut up and be quiet and just watch and observe, because for your own safety, you don't need to mention it. Why? Because you want the people who think they're fooling you. Sometimes you have to be the fool or pretend to be the fool to the fool who think they're fooling you. Why? Because it is best at that time for you to do so. So let them think that you are and whatever, and let them continue on in their delusion and illusion. Why? Because that is the demonic forces, the spirituality that they're operating out of, the spirits, the demons, the souls, whatever, traumatic, whatever you want to call it, that they're operating out of. So when they think you're beneath them, when they think you're discarded, you're nothing, and you just sit there, you came to be a blessing. God sent you. Because God, even Jesus, when he came, he revealed himself, but then he didn't. Because he would come, and if people accepted him, they did for who he was. He didn't come to be this grandiose, but he was. He came in humility and meekness, but it was to see how you would treat him and how he would deal with you. Why? Because people would treat you a certain way when they feel like you are nothing. God is not a respecter of persons. He sees your real true motives and hearts. So don't think you can fool him. That's why every people, place, and thing. He clings to those who he sees when it comes to certain things he can deal with for a certain. Why? Because there's certain characteristics, traits that he sees in them, the motives and intentions, even when they make mistakes and they're not perfect and pure. Why? Because he knows that. But he wants to see where are your true motives and intentions. Now, we all have the good and the bad. I'm going to say I could be the Phoenix, I could be the evil, wicked one, I could be, people know me, ooh, Jesus, they can know, God has taken me through a lie, he has saved me through a lie, ooh, Lord Jesus, if folk only knew, ooh, Jesus, and I still say this to this day, because God has worked with me, I for not to for two Christian, he's working on me in that grace and mercy, because there's a lot of areas in my life that I feel like, and he would tell me, and he would keep me on a leash, is not to be the Phoenix, and not to raise up and, just spew judgment or wrath. And he would like, listen, chill, because he has that part of him too. And then, if he has it, we have it, because we're made in his image. And our children, he'll tell me chill, and then when I'm angry, I have to, take some time out sometimes, because depending on what's going on, I can blow a gasket, I can go from 0 to 100, God has to help me. And he knows that. And he knows that about me. So it's not all the time. It's not every day. But it's just after I take so much, because everybody gets tired. And then when you feel like, it was no reason for it. It was, and you want to react, you want to do this. And he has to hold you, chain you from that. And I tell people, I don't like to be... I go into my quiet space because sometimes I have to. It's so I don't bleed out and then, cause other people harm, because I used to do it intentionally, whatever you want to call it. And don't want to keep doing that. So a lot of times I get to myself, people think I'm being funny. No, I have to, on days when I'm to myself, keep to myself, I have things going on. And I want to bleed out or be angry or spew fire on other people, so I get by myself, so I can get myself together. Because I know that I too can go from 0 to 100 really, really quick in different areas and aspects of my life. And I know that there's so many ways that I wanted to be evil and wicked. It's my mind, my body, my emotions, all these things. I know that there's more than one way to skin a cat. And I know how to do things to people and not even have to touch them. When I say that, not have to touch them physically, but they will wish they would cry out and wish that I had, in the natural, like, oh, I wish she had it, just because the torment that they would go through when I do certain things will be so much long suffering and dragged out in all these other areas of their life that they would wish. So that's why I'm like, Lord, heal me, because people, you know, you go through things and you figure out trauma, this, that, and the third, and how to do. And God has to show you and teach you, like, that's not the way. And don't get me wrong, because I sit before you, and people do not understand the amount of fire and pressure. I don't talk about things till they're in the past. When I'm still dealing with them, I'm not going to talk about them unless it's the people closest to me. You would never know. You would think everything's fine until something goes wrong, or until it gets to the point where that one last thing, and then I'll blow a gasket or is a bomb exploded. So I just know, and I try to ask God to help me and keep me. That's why I go into my, solitude. Deuteronomy chapter 16. In this chapter, we have a repetition of the laws concerning the 3 yearly feasts, in particular, that of the Passover, that of Pentecost, and that of the Tabernacles, and the general law concerning the people's attendance on them, the institution of an inferior magistracy, and the general rules of justice given to those that were called into office. So a caveat against groves and images. Remember, this is what this is about. A lot of this is because we do not worship God, and we worship these other gods in idolatry, whether we know it or not, spirit and truth. And that is one of the main issues. So now we're going to get into what we need to be doing and I'm trying to get ahead of myself because I want to take these next couple of days because I got some things going on. And I want to take these next couple of days. It could be spiritual, it could be natural, it could be both. And figuring out what's going on and how I need to handle it. Deuteronomy 16. Deuteronomy 16 is a festival, justice and worship order chapter. So that's festival. Festivals are what? They are just like we had, cultural things that we celebrate. Because God, even though you're living a life here, it is a life still to be lived abundantly and to have it in a way that we can have fun, have a life, have things outside of all of this and be having fun, having worship, having, a life that is of God, and not of the world. And it is holiness everywhere because God doesn't want you to live here. It's all about rules and regs. It is about rules and regs, but it's about having a life within the rules and regs that is acceptable to God, but still being able to live, have peace, have joy, have laughter, have all of these things. And this is what we need to figure that out. How to do that. God doesn't want you to be here and be miserable. This is what joy and peace and all that. But the devil wants you to be here and be miserable your whole life and never enjoy it. And that is the problem, because God does not call us to do that, and nor does he want us to serve him that way. Festival, justice, and worship order chapter, a turning point where God teaches Israel how to build a joyful, right, just, covenant-centered lineage, meaning life, and shape this layered, generational, spiritual, intelligent. So Deuteronomy 16 is a structured generational summary. The chapter in one sentence, God commands Israel to celebrate, right, the 3 major festivals and establish righteous judges. So what? Judges, right? So they worship, joy, justice, and covenant loyalty shape their time lineage. Why? God is giving them a blueprint, a map, all of these chapters in Deuteronomy, and so from the time he brought them out to now of how to live and not to live like they did, the pagans and all these other wicked gods. And because the way that they live is the way of bondage, and the way that God gives you to live, it has rules and regs, but it's not one of bondage. It is not one that it is one of purity. It is one of holiness. It is one of laughter, love, of celebration. It is one of, yes, all those things. So, and we don't think of it that way because of what the world shows us and gives us. And this is how this goes. Narrative flow, clear and sequential. The Passover and unleavened bread. Israel must what? Remember the night of deliverance. Do we do that? The calendars, the days of the week, the time. They've changed it so that we don't know what that is. We don't really know when, where, and how. It's by design. They do that purposely so that we can be out of alignment, so we can receive curses instead of blessings, because they practice their stuff during those certain same times, and they do it opposite to get certain things. Why? Because they know it's power in those kairos moments, those open heavens and all that. Eat unleavened bread, symbol of haste and purity. Sacrifice the Passover only at the place God chooses, right? This is why they pick and choose certain places. The devil is not a reinventor of anything. He mimics God. He is an imposter. He is a wannabe. He is all of those things because he has no identity of his own. God created him and he is mimicking, but he's doing it alternatively, opposite, in opposition to what? Let you think that it's of God, but it's not, and to lead you down the wrong way. Remembering deliverance protects the lineage from forgetting who freed them. And this is what the devil wants you to think. All these other things look good, sound like God, sound good in God, and it's not. Everything good is not of God, and he wants it to look and sound like it's good and of God so that you can be tricked. It's the lies, steal, kill, and destroy, deceit mechanism, the manipulation, the lies, the monitoring, what is it though? Okay. Feast of Weeks, Pentecost. A celebration of harvest, gratitude, generosity, and joy. So what does that say? A celebration, the feasting. Each time we get before God, it is a time of what? Feasting. The sacrifices is what? For us to eat before him. Feasting. Having what? Like you get together for the holidays they have, Thanksgiving, and have a feast. That's the same thing. That's worship. You see? It says nothing. It's worship of the other gods. Why? They mimic what God says. Get together, slaughter these things, sacrifice it to me, sit down and eat it before me. You all have the feast, the celebration. We're going to enjoy each other. We're going to have fellowship. He's a father. He's the head. He's going to let you do these things in relationship to him, the ritualistic way, the pleasing way to him, the way he wants you to do it. And it is a blessed thing. It is not a cursed thing. But when we do it their way, it is a cursed thing. That's the culture. Why? Find the way God says, do it, and then it will be the better way. See? Okay. Feast of Weeks. Celebration of harvest, gratitude, generosity, joy. They must include the Levites or the priests, right? Why? They have to help with and they are going to partake in all of what's being done, the sacrifices and all that, blessing it to God so we can eat, right? Sacrifices are what? They're killing the whatever he told them to kill, and then they're going to eat it as the feast in front of them, right? Foreigners, they're orphans, widows, all of them included. They don't have money, it doesn't matter. Come and feast. Gratitude becomes generational when everyone is included. See, we're not secluded. We're not divided. We are together. You see? Right? Feast of Tabernacles, Booths. A 7-day celebration. Here we go. Another one. Another celebration. Another feast. Another celebration that they want us to not do. They want us to do theirs and not God's. See? During the times we're supposed to do it, during the moons, and whatever he has in the Hebrew calendar, the times that's with the open heaven, there's blessing upon that communion, relationship, rituals, all of that, right? But they want us to do their stuff and not God's stuff. So we get their continual curses dealing with them. They get the blessings and we get the curses because we're sacrifices to their gods. What they want. And that's why we remain the way we are. And when we do it to God in his way and the way he wants it, it'll be different. But that's why it's the way it is. And see, we are taught to be that way and not this way. It's beneficial to who? The ones who are empowered. Why? Because they're the one changes everything, right? They're the ones doing these things to purposely keep us where? Beneath them for a reason, right? Feast of Tabernacles, 7 days of celebration. God's provision, God's presence. Oh, God is there. He's providing. He's celebrating with you. He's approving of all of this. See? They drink wine. Yeah. They drink wine. God's faithfulness in the wilderness. What? Yes. Even in the time of trouble, in the time of testing. Everyone must rejoice. Why? Because joy is a covenant discipline, not a mood with God. Why? Because he's giving you everything. Be happy, be fruitful, multiply. I'm blessing you. Worship me. Let's commune. Let's have relationship. Let's do these things together. Just don't do them and leave me out, and do it with other gods and worship them, and you will be blessed. Hello, somebody. Can we get this in our heads? Judges and justice. God commands, appoint judges. Pursue justice. Refuse bribes. Refuse partiality. Whoa. Theme, a lineage cannot flourish without justice. Why? Because oppression and injustice is what? Robbery. Is it not robbery? Robbery of the ones who are doing right in favor of the ones who are not. No pagan worship practices. Israel must not plant Asherah poles. We talked about those before. Those are the gods and goddesses, the sexual rituals, and the bunny, the past, the Easter instead of the resurrection. Yeah, instead of the Passover, the good stuff. No, they give us that. See? The opposite of what God says. So we can worship that. And we wonder why we're cursed. That, as long as we worship in that and their money, and that benefits them. That blesses them because they sacrificing that, us in that to their gods. We're worshiping that. And when we don't worship God and do that for God, when he says to do these things opposite of this, which is Christ's resurrection and not this, we're not doing that. So we're getting the curses instead of the blessings because this is what they put before us, and they got the calendars and all that mixing us up to do that, right? Exactly. And then we wonder why the world is the way it is. Okay. Purity of worship protects the lineage from spiritual infiltration. So, Israel Manat, what? No pagan worship. Plant Asherah poles. Set up sacred pillars. Meeting, worshiping in these places, calves, and eating and drinking. Did we not see that? Thanksgiving and Christmas. We know it's not God. We know it's not. We know it's pagan, but we're still doing it. And it's not to say like that. But yeah, that's exactly. Spiritual lineage themes for your focus. A memory creates identity. Passover teaches what? We were slaves. God delivered us out. Right? A lineage that remembers become a lineage that stays free. Why? Because we remember where we came from. We're appreciative. We're thankful. We're grateful that he brought us out. We know we didn't deserve it. We know it was no effort on our own. We know that we couldn't have done it without him. Right. Parents of children, certain things you've done, if you hadn't took care of them, they wouldn't have been able to get to where they are. Same things. All three festivals command rejoicing, celebration, gratitude. So there is joy in the land of the living. We can live an abundant life right here on earth as it is in heaven, like he told us to, right? We see that. What's put before us and what we can actually do, what he told us to do. If we did it this way, it will be that way, right? Exactly. All three festivals command what? Rejoicing, celebration, gratitude. Joy is not optional. It is a spiritual architecture because you will be thankful and grateful for what the Lord has brought you from and through, right? Generosity is a lineage marker in every festival. The poor, the foreigner, the widow, the orphan must be included. Do not exclude them. A generous lineage becomes a blessed lineage. You cannot have these things and exclude them. God does not, he's not a respecter of persons. Your degrees, your looks, no, does not make you better than that homeless man. Because if that homeless man's heart is better, his attitude, his gratitude is better than yours, and God sees it, guess what? In the kingdom of heaven, he is greater than you are here on earth. No matter what the title and situation is here on earth, you may be bigger than him here, but he is greater than you there, and that's what there is what matters, not here. Justice protects the lineage. God ties justice to survival. Justice you shall pursue so that you may live. A lineage without justice becomes a lineage without a future. Hello. Do we not see that in the Black community? Oppression and justice. What does that really mean for us? And we are the chosen people. And because we still worship their gods and do what they do, this is why we are here. Up under the what? Curse and not the blessings. Purity of worship secures identity. No Asherah poles, no pagan pillars, no blended worship. Purity protects the lineage from spiritual confusion. Whoa. No confusion. That's them, and this is us. I bought myself some flowers. Not necessarily for love, but for the love of God. And so I don't really... And I could do that on any day because I was thinking about that. I said, yeah, and then I do sometimes, I have to, treat myself, love myself. But I don't want to mix it because I don't want God to think I'm doing it just for that reason. Layered summary, your style. Festivals, historical festivals, judges, justice, worship, and purity. That's historical. Emotional, joy, gratitude, remembrance, inclusion. Generational, festivals transmit identity. Justice protects the future. Exactly. Identity. Israel is a deliberate, joyful, just, and covenant people, and this is what we're supposed to be. Spiritual, worship, justice, and joy are sacred rhythms, and that shapes lineage. So we want to look at this a little further, take a little deeper dive. The generational, the layered, spiritual, intellectual, and we're going to study it. The Dueteronomy 16 declaration set, we're going to look at it. Identity, joy, justice, worship, and lineage declarations. Identity and memory declarations. I remember the God who delivered me, and I live from that freedom. My lineage is shaped by remembrance, not forgetfulness. You remember what? Whose you are, who delivered you, who brought you out, who loves you, who's there for you, and you honor them. I honor the God who brought me out, so my children have clarity. Your loyalty is not to everyone else, it is to Him for so many reasons. And we have to remember that when we're living life, to who is good to us and not to treat them badly. Because God looks at that. When you treat people poorly that were sent to be nothing but a blessing unjustly, for no reason, for whatever your reasons in your mind, that has it's a problem with that. Just because you can, just because you want to, you don't see them, you discard them. It's nothing. They're humility. They're not doing things for money. They just do things because they love people, because they love God, because that's in them. He put it in them to help, to be there, to be a blessing, and you just use it. You see it as weakness. You want to use them, abuse them, toss them to the side, treat them like crap, get what you want, and think that you're going to get away. You will put a curse upon yourself by doing that. Why? Because that will be the seed that you will reap, that you have sowed, right? Will be one of reaping and judgment. So, I mean, it's not to say it's the person themselves. It's just the way you did what you did, and God saw it, and you're going to reap it because you sowed it. So you might want to pay attention to how you treat people, whether you think they're somebody or not. No matter how big or small. No, you might want to treat people, no matter if you need them or not and care about them or not, with a little bit of dignity and respect. Because you might reap that and that seed grows to be a big plant, and you may not like what you're getting. But that will be your own situation. Because sometimes things are reaping, not even judgment, but it could be reaping and judgment at the same time. It just depends on what you're planting. We reap both. Joy declaration. Joy is my covenant discipline, not a passing emotion. I rejoice before the Lord because joy strengthens my lineage. My household is marked by celebration, gratitude, and God's presence. Generosity includes declarations. I include the overlooked, the outside, the vulnerable in my joy. My generosity creates belonging for others. My lineage is a refuge for those who need care and compassion. That's why we shouldn't bother those who are not bothered. Why are you bothered going around messing with people? People trying to just live their lives. They have enough going on. Why are you trying to add extra or be more? And then sometimes things are not all that great, and they may go around like everything is, but then you're just adding on more. Why? Because you can, because you're in charge. Oh, be careful of that. I'm just going to tell you that. It's not good for you. God sees all. He sees and judges all. Don't think He doesn't. Your real, true heart, motives towards these people, places, and things, what you're really trying to do, you can act, pretend, or you want to towards them and others, but He sees and He knows the real truth of your heart. And you will get repayment based on that exactly. And then some. Justice declarations. I pursue justice and with integrity and courage. I refuse partiality, corruption, and compromise. Why? Because you don't want to be in the midst of that. Because that can be destroying other people. You see things going wrong, you just say nothing. You're a part of it, you don't do nothing. This is the problem. Where's the love? Where's all of that? Where's your integrity to say, oh, no, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to be a part of this? Right. Justice, integrity, courage. I refuse partiality, corruption, and compromise. Justice protects my lineage and secures my future. That's why some people say, oh, I'll do anything for a few dollars. I'll go against these people, I'll curse them out, I'll belittle them. Yeah, and then they get it back later. Because I wanted the dollar, I wanted to be down, I wanted to say, yeah, and then it doesn't go well for you later. You don't know who's who. What's what? God sees all. He loves all. not love soul, because some people don't love. My worship is pure, centered, and God directed. I reject every form of mixture. Exactly. Idolatry and spiritual confusion. Exactly. You cannot mix. My lineage is anchored in covenant worship. Covenant is what? Altars, covenants, contracts. It's relationship. It's ritualistic. It's whatever religious practices that he set up for you to do. That's what that is about. That's what a covenant is. We both holding up our end of the deal. And we're both doing what we need to be doing to be in that altar, that covenant, that contract, that sacrifice, that relationship, that ritual. Yeah. Festival-based generational identity framework, a structured model showing how 3 festivals shape lineage, identity, and spiritual formation, one is the Passover. That's when he delivered them. When they put the blood over the doors. The last plague that they had was the firstborn. That's why the firstborn is so important. Where he killed all the firstborns. But remember, they were doing that to Israelites first. That's why Moses was put in the basket, because they were already doing that. See? And so what God did was he gave them really a lot of what they were doing with their own gods, and he let them get a taste of their own medicine, because this was stuff that they was doing to his people. And so he gave them that. You worship these gods, this is what you do. You've been doing this to my people. Then guess what? Boom. I'm going to do this to you. Show you I'm the real true God. You've been doing this. These gods are not what you think. They are not gods. And because you worship them, I'm going to show you that I'm the true God. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to show the Israelites, I'm going to show everyone that this is what goes on. When you deal with me, you deal with my people, you're going to know that I am who I am. I am the I am. And I say who I am. The creator of all creators. And when I say the firstborn of all the firstborns, as long as you put this post upon your door, you slaughtered the lamb, you feasted and ate it, you closed your doors, kept them closed, put the blood on your doorpost, guess what? I'm going to pass. The spirit of death is going to pass through all of you who have that blood on your doorpost. Because that's letting me know that these are my people. He told them that so that would happen. And so then they went to the Egyptians, and they were not a part of God's people. They did not know about that. And because of that, all of their firstborns were slain. But when you think about how many for years they were slaying of the children of God, all of the firstborns, as if it was nothing, like they would just get away with it, would do what they want, and they were just going to be no justice for the people, no this, no that. They just going to do what they want. They're in power, and they think that until God put a stop to it. You see what I'm saying? It's not the people. It's God. It's not the people that have power. No, it's God that has the power. It's he who did it. It's not the people. Festival 1, Passover, identity and deliverance. Core meaning, remembering deliverance from bondage. Teaches the children where they came from. Exactly. I brought you out of this. Don't forget, because you can go back. If I loved you, I respected you, I treated you well, I did all I could for you, and I blessed you. The outside of that is cursing. And just as I'm good to you, I can allow these curses to be upon your life. I can allow all of the things that they wanted for you to happen and have. You can have all of that. And I can leave you right over there if that's what you choose. If you go over there out of my protection and do that, just like a parent, you will get that and you will have that. And I will let you have it. And I will relieve myself. I will take my covering from upon you. And I will allow you to experience all what you need to experience, because you need to, in order to have that respect, in order to change your heart and your ways to return and come back and truly with repentance. Why? Because I'm going to get the glory out of your life, either in your blessings, in your obedience, or in your damnation and curses. This is what this is about. They're going to know that I'm God one way or another, either by you and your choices being damned or being cursed and blessed, whatever one you choose. So, remembering deliverance from bondage, lineage impact, teaches children where they came from. Don't play with me. Prevent spiritual amnesia. Right. Because remember, I am who I say. I am your Father, the Lord your God. And just like I bless you, I can curse you. I'm not even curse you. I can leave you out there to be cursed. I cannot protect you, not shield you, not cover you. Don't go back. Builds humility and gratitude. Exactly, because after that, you're going to have some humility. You're going to pipe on down. You're going to have a little bit more gratitude. You're going to have a little bit more respect. You'll put a little bit more respect on his name if he lets you go back out there and do what you and suffer a little bit. Anchors identity in God's saving power. Principle, a lineage that remembers stay free. Stay free of what? Getting their mind toe up to thinking that somebody owed them something. God ain't got to do nothing. A lineage that remembers stays what? Free. I don't owe you nothing. I don't have to do nothing. If I did it, I did it. I wanted to. I loved you and I cared about you. But I can take my hand of protection out from under you. I can let you really truthfully have all that you want, and you will go out there and see that you was a sheep in wolves' territory. And I was protecting you the whole time. But if you want to go out there, go on out there. Get toe up a little bit. And then you might come back with the appreciation, the gratitude that you need to come back with. The little respect upon my name instead of sitting here, gratitude, gratefulness. Yeah, no, you go on out there and get your bondage. And you do what you do, because I'm not chasing you. I know who I am. I know whose I am. I'm sitting here. I'm your father, your daddy. I love you. But if you wish to be disobedient, if you wish to disrespect me, dishonor me, you wish to go out there and you wish to love and cherish and do all these things with all these other guys and all these people, places, and things, I will leave you over there to your own devices. And whatsoever you get is what you get over there. And until you come back repenting and got some sense, I'm going to leave you over there. Till you want to repent and change your ways and do different, I'm going to leave you right there and let you have all the destruction, all the judgment, all the reaping that all you sowed, and you will reap it and you will get it and you will stay right there and you will endure whatever until you get your mind right when it comes to me. Period, point blank. Understand, I am the reason that you are where you are. I helped you. I was there. I loved you. I coddled. I did all these things. But if you choose to disgrace, dishonor, disobey me, go over there and get what you want. You my child and I love you. But I will not dishonor myself and my throne, who I am, my position for you. My place in your life is so solidified. It does not change. What you think and what you do is on you. But I told you, so go do what you need to do. And I'm going to sit right here and do what I do. And when you're ready, if I feel like it, I'll be bothered. On my time, not yours. Because you can come back and God, he do when he feel like it. You may have to go through some things. But repentance and accountability is one of the things you must do. You're not going to get past that part. Elephants in rooms? No, God does not do that. You will say you sorry for everything you did before you come back over here thinking I'm just going to accept you back and let you. No, there's a repentance process for that reason. You must acknowledge it. You must repent of it. You must ask for forgiveness. And if you don't, you will stay over there. Why? Where the judgment and the curses and the reapers is. You're going to stay over there until you acknowledge what you did wholeheartedly, with humility, with thanksgiving and repentance. Yes. You might come back crawling in with your last leg after you've been out there doing all you want, but you're going to come back with your mind right. Because if you didn't get your mind right, by the time you get finished over there, your mind, your heart, your motives, your intentions, by the time you come back over here, going to be right. Because if you think I'm going to sit here and coddle you and play with you, I love you, but I'm going to let you sit over there and have what you want. And if destruction is the function of what you want, you're going to have it. You will have it all. So it dawns on you. And until then, oh well, you be over there. So the core meaning celebrate harvest and God's provision. Lineage impact builds a culture of gratitude, normalizes generosity. It includes the marginalized, right? Creates economic justice and rhythms. Principle, a grateful lineage becomes a generous lineage. When you are grateful and you're thankful. Because when you feel entitled and you feel like somebody owes you, you're not grateful. You feel like you're supposed to get and you're not supposed to give. You don't have to. And that's the problem. You feel like somebody owes you something. Festival 3, Feast of Tabernacles, Joy and Presence. Core meaning, remembrance of God's presence in the wilderness. This lineage impact teaches joy as a spiritual discipline, connects identity to God's faithfulness, builds emotional resilience, creates a culture of celebration. So joy, spiritual discipline, connects identity to God's faithfulness, right? Because you're thankful for what you did. Now you're thankful for everything because you know what you could have had, what you should have had, what you did have, and it's so much better over here than it was over there. Builds emotional resilience, creates cultural celebration. A joyful lineage becomes a strong lineage. Why? Because you can say what you want to say. When you left my house, when you was over here, you was doing good. You went over there and you thought you was going to do better than you did here, and you got worse. So then, when you figured that out, you got mad, you went through all of that, and then you realized that you should have just stayed over here. It wasn't everything, but it was more than what you had. Booyah. The 80-20% rule all the time. I don't care. Worship, purity, attitude of gratitude goes a long way. Core meaning, justice is required. Justice and judges, integrity and protection. Justice is required for the community to flourish, right? Lineage impact protects the vulnerable, prevents corruption. Got to do that. Vulnerable people get corrupted all the time. Secures the future, builds trust and stability. Lineage without justice cannot survive. No, because there's no trust, there's no loyalty, there's no all of these things. That's why. Worship purity, spiritual protection, core meaning, no astral poles and no pagan pillars. Meaning no worshiping of other gods, prevents spiritual infiltration, protects identity, maintains covenant clarity, keeps worship centered on God and not all this other stuff. Purity protects the lineage from confusion. Exactly, because it's easy to be confused, infiltrated, your identity stolen, when you do not know, when you're not clarifying, when you are confused. And this is why there's such a thing with these people teaching us all these things that not of God. Justice and joy lineage worksheet, a reflective tool for applying Dueteronomy 16 to your life and lineage. 1, memory audit, Passover. What deliverance has God brought me through? What must my lineage never forget? What stories of freedom must I pass down? And when I say this, a lot of this has to do with family, because God is about family. You have to listen to this, think about these things within your own households, within your own family. Because a lot of these things here, God wants you to do even within your own family. He wants you to do it with him first. But yes, it does pass down to your family, because that's what this is all about. God is all about family. He's the creator of it. So, section 2, gratitude audit, feast of weeks. What blessings am I overlooking? Right. Where can I practice gratitude daily? Who needs to be included in my celebration? Why? Because we tend to overlook those things a lot. We think it's somebody loving you, doing stuff that they supposed to, they have to, and they don't. Because there's a lot of people out there that don't get half what you get. That's why it's like, okay, you're here, you're getting this, but it's people here and there's people here. So you're kind of in between. Now, if you don't be grateful for what you got, God will take it. If you are here, add on to it. See? That's the gifts and the talents. You multiply whatever it is when you are happy and thankful and grateful, God will bless you with more. When you are not, he will take away what you already have. And that's the problem with people. A lot of people are not grateful. They're not thankful for the people, places, things that they have. And when God take them away, it is a huge wow. God sent them people to be a blessing. You did not see it. You did not appreciate it. You wanted so much more. And then you ended up with nothing. Being greedy, you end up with nothing. No gratitude, no gratefulness. Section 3, joy audit, Feast of Tabernacle. What steals my joy? What rhythms restore joy in my home? How can I make joy a disciple or discipline, not a mood? Hard task, because joy and happiness are two different things. Happiness is what circumstances, situation. Joy doesn't matter what happens. I'm going to still be happy and thankful to God because I know what he's done, what he's doing, and furthermore, I know he loves me and he's the best for me. That's the difference. Justice audit. Where do I need to pursue fairness? What compromises must I reject? What boundaries protect my integrity? Who needs my advocacy? See, because I like to be sitting there. Can I do better? Can I do this? Can I, I come into people's lives, people, places, things to be better, to do better for them, for me, to be a blessing, not, to intentionally do harm. So I would say, well, was I wrong about this? I question myself. I overthink a lot. Did I do this wrong? Did I do that? Like, is it me? Am I bugging? And I do that for a reason, because I want to make sure, and sometimes I can handle situations different, say things, do things. Maybe I said and did it in a way, maybe it offended me, but I didn't mean to. Okay, sometimes that happens. The person you are, sometimes being straightforward can be an issue. You're not knowing that, but this is who you are, but to other people it's offensive. Now you have to be truthful, are you? But maybe you could have just said it a little different. I don't know, but this is what it is. And I protecting my integrity, but being the same with them and not, So it's like, okay. And this is what this is about. So where do I need to pursue fairness? This is a justice audit. What compromises must I reject? Right? Because there's some ones you can do. You can compromise on certain things. Some things you're just like, nah, I'm not. Why? I'm just not. What boundaries protect my integrity, and who needs my advocacy, mean protection? Who needs me to advocate or help them or stand by them? And integrity is always something, truth, honesty, all those type of things. Good intentions, good motives. Okay, then we get to worship and purity. This is an audit. What influences dilute my devotion? So there's certain things you do that you like, I just let that slide because no. What action or repose must be removed? Means certain things you worship. The idolize, worship things of God that is not of God. What practices restore my beauty and worship? What must I guard for the sake of my lineage? And you got to think about those things. Everyone is different. Integrated transformation. I'm not going to go through the whole lineage, but what I will do is talk about 16. Festivals, justice, and joy. From forgetful to celebratory. It builds a joyful, just covenant lineage. And this is what this is about. Because whenever you forget what has already been done for you, you easily abuse it. You use it, you abuse it, and a lot of times you lose it. Why? Because God is not going to send you anything, give you anything. You're supposed to be good stewards of any and everything. That means you must take care of it, multiply it, treat it good, right, just, and not just do whatever you want to do. And if you do that, it will be taken. He giveth and he taketh. Summary of this is God transforms the people from wandering to survivors into joyful, just, to covenant-rooted lineage, building leaders. That's why I get to a place where I was like, I have to be very careful because I'm a loving, giving person. But if not, I have to guard my heart like he told me, because it could be taken advantage of. The same gift God has given me to be a blessing could also be a cursing in my life. The devil will use it as such because he will use that same goodness, that same good heart to be a detriment, to destroy me, to have me in bondage, chain, yoke, shackled to people, places, and things that mean me no good. And because of that, I have to understand and learn that I have to allow God to let me see people, places, and things for who and what they really are. And not get to the point where, yes, if I have to be hurt, yes, if I have to mourn, cry, and ask God to help me to give myself away from them, to cut me off from them. And it may be a cut opponent that I don't want and I don't like. It may be my children, it may be friends, it may be family, it may be a loved one, it may be a spouse, it may be a significant other, it may be parents, because at times parents could be, your siblings. A lot of times I feel like Joseph. I tell people like, they don't know my lineage. They don't understand. When you talk about loss, you talk about love, you talk about giving it out, baby. But I shouldn't even be sitting here right now, but the way my life has been set up is only God, because I'm going to tell you, I've had a mother that hated me. Siblings, Joseph, try to kill me, hate you, do stuff to you your whole life. When you come from a lineage like that, and the people behind them, and they've said and done things that everyone just believed and just hated you, and you were just so terrible all of the time, and all you want to do is just go on and live your life, and you didn't say nothing, you were silent, you just, went about your life, you tried to forgive, you tried to forget, you tried to go, and it didn't matter because it was still there. It was an elephant in the room. It didn't go nowhere. It was always there, and it was always a part of your life. So when I sit here and I'm like, whew, Joseph, when I think about him dreaming and his father loving him, and, his brothers, and they hating him, and them, throwing him in the pit and lying and selling him into slavery, wanting to kill him, all these, it's like, dang. And the way he actually forgave them in the end and was still there for them. And I'm like, Lord, if that's what you want for my life, you're going to have to help me with that. You're going to have to. Because everyone just don't move on and forgive just like that. It's not just that simple. Some things are deep. The wounds, the hurt, the pain, especially when it's over long periods of time. It has just been time after time, thing after thing. And God tells us we still have to forgive, yes. But Jesus is Jesus. I'm trying to be like Jesus, but I ain't got there. And I would never be Jesus until he come in. But I'm trying, and I want to be as best as I can, but I'm still a human being. God has to heal, deliver, and restore me from a lot of things. So it's the things that he's healed me from and delivered, and it's things he haven't. And I tell people that in my walk, because if you catch me on the wrong day and some things that he hasn't healed me in, you might get the old me, a different me. Why? Because I'm not healed yet in that area. I'm not delivered and restored yet. So depending on what that is, you might be shocked. Like, right. And then people wonder, oh, you're supposed to be saved. I am saved by grace and mercy. And I'm in salvation. He's moving me. He's changing me. He's doing what he needs to do. But when we look at all the Moses, David had Uriah killed because he wanted to be with Bathsheba. That was a whole adulterous situation. And he was a man after God. And now he paid for it because Absalom, his sons, all of them turned to get, there's a whole bunch afterwards. But God still forgave him. And just like God forgives these wicked ones and he allows them to do, he forgives us too with all the stuff that goes on. Now there's always prices to pay. You still got to reap what you sow. It don't matter. If you sow it, you're going to reap it whether you say it or not. I'm not going to sit here and say and lie to you. But sometimes it's like... Because I can say, oh, well, I don't care and I don't want to be bothered. I'll just do X, Y, and Z anyway. I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm going through this, and I'm tired of it. I'm like, Lord, what's going on? And I just be like, oh, I'll be so angry and I'll be so pissed and I'll be going off sometimes. This week was kind of crazy for me because I had a lot going on. And it's just like, if you only knew. And I sit here and be like, oh, she's so stoic. Oh, Jesus, Lord, bless her. Thank you, thanks the Lord. If you only know. If you only knew that. Because you think I'm not some bionic person. I am a human being. I put on my pants every day just like you. I go through so much. People do not even understand. And it's like, whether it was the men, the children, the whatever. And we lose ourselves, especially as women. We will lose ourselves in any and everything we're doing because that's the nurturing in us that we do. And when you sleep with a man or you're with him and you love him and you intertwine and you naturally join with him and your children and you lose yourself. And when that breakage and that splitting is hard because it's a little splitting, it's a tearing away of your spiritual and natural life with each other, and you think it's so simple and it is not. And it becomes a death mourning, having to be depressed and recover and mourn over the loss, whatever it is, a marriage, your children, the relationships, your grandchildren, whatever was taken, stolen, whatever was done, and then you bleed out and you're hurting because you was bleeding and you weren't healed and and then there's a bleeding because I went through my bleeding in the spiritual and natural realm because I went through this bleeding where I had to get all of this stuff, and it was both. That's why when I talk about these things, a lot of times I look at even my spiritual of the woman hemorrhaging out of everything, because I was doing it both in the spiritual and natural, bleeding out naturally along with spiritually, hemorrhaging out, meaning giving or bleeding out the life force and not getting it back, in every aspect of my life, including. And so when I look at these things, I also think about having to get the iron infusions and the blood transfusions, every month for 6 months to, before my surgery to get me well enough both times to have them with the fibroids and stuff. And they, the stress from the family and the husband and the children and all this, and telling them, you're killing me, the stress, because they talk about, stress, you bleed more when you're stressed. But then I'm not thinking and caring and them still doing what they're doing, and you're just killing me slowly with the stress. Because if I'm worried and I'm stressful and I'm traumatic, and this is why when people say, oh, you ready? No, I'm not ready to do all of that again. I need to get healed, delivered, and whole myself first. Can I stop hemorrhaging and bleeding out on others and stop, right? And this is why I tell people all the time, don't just rush and jump into giving yourself, spreading yourself thin and wide again. Because you have to have capacity, and in order to build capacity, God has to heal you, plug you up so that you can carry and hold and be healed and delivered and restored before you can give out again. Because you give from your overflow, not from your lack. You're hemorrhaging, you're losing. And people don't understand, you give from the abundance, the overflow, not from the lacking. And until you get that, you understand that if you do that and you continue to do that long term, that you yourself will be depleted. You'll be slowly killing yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially. People say, oh, she's crazy, she this. I went through a lot of those things. I had to get blood from other people. I had to go into the crazy house. I tried to kill myself. All these other things, involuntary plays. All of these things, when you go through these things, and that's more demonic than anything, I'm going to tell you. Because that stuff with the demons and the mental health is a lot to do with the demons and the curses and all of that you are, you have to fight all of that in order to get to a place. Yeah, and it is a battle. It is. But I just want to say this because I'm, and I don't ask for finances because I had to learn this the hard way, and I ask God, but I want people to know and understand, because a lot of times people ask you for things all the time. I was always a giver, and I was a giver regardless if anybody gave or not. And to a certain extent, I'm like, Lord, I still, feel, but it's ministry. But at the same token, being a blessing, be blessed to be a blessing, cool. But if not, it's not going to stop me from letting people see, because if that's the case, in due season, God will allow whatever. It will be a blessing to me financially, but I still work. So I still am covered. I'm still blessed. It's not like I'm lacking right now. So this is me giving. And most people will charge and ask, and they do. And those are the people that a lot of people pay and give, and they're not going to tell you unless you pay. And this is the thing. I'm here, and these are the people that get overlooked, who come into your life and who are blessed to you for free, don't ask you for nothing. And then you'll go pay someone else to do barely enough, not as half, and then they'll give you what they want, and then you have to be charged for everything. And we got to pay attention to that. We have to seriously, because I am the type of person, if I want to see you do well, regardless of me, whatever, I'm going to pour in, because that's just who I am. And I ask God to help me with that, because that is a place where I was struggling. I guess I'm pouring out too much. And I said, Lord, let me know when I need to pull back. Let me know when I need to stop. Let me know when I need to, plug it up. Don't make it where I can't, give out. You want to come to finance, whatever it is, and like I said, people like to use that, but I tell people all the time, trying to do me dirty, you're going to curse yourself. So you go ahead and do what you want to do. But I'm not here to get over, to mistreat you, to abuse you. No. For you. If I'm not, I'm not. If I'm, with you, I'm with you. If I'm not, I'm going to be here. I'm going to help. I'm going to do all I can. I'm not going to charge you anything. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for free because I want to, not because I have to. But people get that kindness mixed with weakness, and they don't understand that when you do that, because a lot of times God has sent people in your life, and He'll see you, test the waters. He knows your motives and heart, but He's going to see what you're going to do. And then you mess around, you mess yourself up, because it's already in you to be sneaky, to be greedy, to be, getting over, manipulative, controlling, and all this. It's already in you to get over, and to be, with the gift of gab and manipulating and, selling the Eskimos some ice and getting over and got a scam and a scheme. And this is what they do. This is the world we live in. Get your money, give you nothing, or half of something, or just a little bit, or just tell you this or tell you that. It's a lie. It's the truth. It's mixed in. And your motives and your everything, and they don't care. They always business. See? Gotta treasure the ones who don't do that. We give to the ones who do that. We make them big. We make them famous. We make them, and they will never give you just period out the goodness of their heart, feed into you, tell you something, pour into you freely without you paying them. And anything they're going to tell you just a little bit, because they ain't going to tell you, they ain't going to tell you nothing that's going to make you bigger than them, better than them. They don't do that. They don't. So I'm getting to the end of this video because it's getting kind of long. But anyway, be blessed. We're bruised and not broken. Hope this video was a blessing. Like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully I'll be a blessing to whoever. If you want to be a blessing, fine. You can look at my bio. I have my Cash App or whatever in there. And if not, that's fine. Some people can, some people can't. It is what it is. Some people want to, some people don't. It's on them. I don't force people. I don't make people. I'm just here. And like I said, I'm doing what I'm doing. And God has allowed me to do it because there's people out there who can't afford it, who cannot afford it, who know, who don't know. But they need certain people to just, be real and honest and not be about gaining for themselves, trying to get over, trying to be slick, trying to manipulate, lie, steal, kill, destroy them, whatever. That's just, what that's about. But anyway, bruised and not broken. And until the next word, I'm trying to get them out because I'm going to have another day or so before I go back to work. I need to rest and all that. I'm trying to get them out. I want to be a little bit ahead so I can relax and chill out. Okay? But I love you guys. And until the next message in the word, it is what it is. Bruised and not broken. Be blessed. In Jesus' name, amen.